Well, welcome back to our channel, friends. And of course, I say it's our channel because, well, I have no plans to make money on it. I doubt I'll ever have enough subscribers or that I'll ever say anything interesting enough. But I am blessed with a few subscribers who seem to enjoy what I do and are very tolerant. I must say that. They're very tolerant of me. And today I'm working with my Pimax Super Ultrawide. Now, I've only tried this once, and I haven't actually got any frames per second counts on it. I couldn't get it to work in Flight Sim 2024, so that's what I'm going to try today. But first, because I'm using an older, slower computer, an i9900, and I believe I've got 32 gigs of RAM, and an Nvidia 3090, which is a very good graphics card for flight sims because it's got a lot of memory, but it's, problematic in that it's a little bit on the slow side for the Pimax Super, I think. So what I'm going to do is I'm on the home screen of Pimax. I've got the screen turned off, but that's easy. I just push a button on the headset. I don't want to, excuse me, it's getting old, ain't for sissies. I don't want to wear out the video panels or draw more power than I need to, so I let it default to going screen off when I'm not using it. I'd like to be able to turn the headset off and turn it on again, but I haven't figured out how to do that without unplugging it. Anyway, I'll learn these things as we go along, and it'll take a while for me because I am not the sharpest tool in the shed. You know what I mean? Yeah. Anyway, let's go to device settings. And on normal device information, let's see if there's an update. There is no update for hardware, headset firmware. It's got my headset serial number. Let me put my goggles on so I can see what I'm reading here. I don't need my glasses to drive or to fly in real life. I don't really need them in the sim, but I do have about 20/25 vision uncorrected in one eye and maybe 20/28 in the other, so it's a little on the marginal side. I'm going to go and get some glasses made just for driving and flying, and so they'll have two focal lengths, one for medium range and one for longer. And I'm going to get a couple of just longer lenses, longer view lenses for the headset if I decide to keep it, and I'm not sure I will, because the performance in IL2 and DCS was, I would have to say, underwhelming. Now, part of that is because I don't know how to explain it. Not sure what I'm doing yet. And part of that is that I found the headset wasn't as comfortable as I'd hoped. And again, it didn't come with the comfort kits. I'm going to have to order one of those. And I'm a little disappointed that my DMAS headset speakers didn't show up with it because they were supposed to be included. So I'll have to file a ticket about that. And as I said in my previous video, I did have a little trouble getting it to work at all. And that's not unusual with VR headsets. Sometimes it's your video card, but a lot of times, particularly with the Pimax headsets, it's a matter of making sure your USB ports are working properly. And one of the flaws with some of these video cards, and some of the fault might be with Pimax software, I don't know, but they lose the USB port that they're using somehow. It gets lost in the shuffle, and then you have to try a different USB port. And when I got the headset plugged in, I'd tried a whole bunch of different USB ports, and I tried everything I could think of. Oh, excuse me. Based on my experience with my Pimax 8KX and my Pimax Crystal SG. And I'd never really had a lot of trouble with those. Okay, with the 8KX I did. I had to get support on that one. And that was a really tricky one, but that was early on in Pimax days. And both the software and customer support have improved demonstrably. Yesterday, or a couple of days back, I guess it was, when I started working with this headset, I just couldn't get it to work at all. I was pretty sure it was a USB issue. I mean, I tried changing the USB ports. I changed the display port, changed it back, unplugged the system, plugged it back in, cold booted the computer, let it sit for 60 seconds, pulled it up again, tried everything, and nothing would work. So finally I clicked on the help button here in Pimax Play, and within 3 to 5 minutes I had somebody online texting me and working with me to figure it out, which we eventually did. They sent me some software that actually allowed me to see which USB ports were active, which were supposed to be, and anything that could be eliminated was grayed out. So I just eliminated the grayed out USB ports, made sure the computer was connected to the ones it thought it was, and fired it up, and bingo bango, it worked great. So that was 3 minutes to contact customer service and 15 minutes for them to help me. That's pretty good work, don't you think? So I get a little annoyed when I hear people disrespecting Pimax's customer service, because I think it's as good as any customer service I've seen. I mean, I've had other products, from regular printers to 3D printers, where the customer support was just abysmal, and they acted like they were doing you a favor, and they were slow. Sometimes I even got incorrect information. But now with Pimax, they seem to have really upped their game. In fact, I'd say they're competitive with anybody in terms of customer service. All right, so we've got tracking settings set up. I've got room lighting frequency, 60 hertz. I don't know what that means. There's only a choice of 50 hertz or 60 hertz, so I'll leave it at auto. Recline mode I'm not using. I'm going to set it at 72 hertz for refresh rate. With the OG crystal, I can use 90 hertz. I could even go to 120 if it's available. Screen timeout, I'm going to leave where it is at 20 seconds. Brightness is set to 100. Color previews, I don't know why blue is set higher. Maybe it's just because it's only blue that's being looked at right now, but I'll leave it about there. I'm not going to mess anything. I'm not going to mess with stuff that I don't understand. That's caused me nothing but problems all through my life, believe me. I don't need any directions. I'll put that thing together. Yeah, right. I calibrated yesterday, and I did find, or the other day, and I find that the eye tracking calibration is really tricky. Now, what the heck is OSC transmission? Let's see. Sync eye tracking data with VR chat. No, I don't use VR chat. I tried it. I tried VR chat, but I didn't get it. I mean, I went to a couple of different places in VR chat thinking that I could do some VR chatting, but I guess I'm too old and too stupid to figure it out, but it just seemed really difficult for me to find anybody to talk to or anything that I'd like to do on there. And I thought, well, I don't need VR chat to meet people. In fact, the more I know people, the better I like dogs. Actually, no. I like lots of people. You can't be a teacher if you don't like people. But anyway, let's go to settings. Current version looks okay. I can check for updates, but I'm sure there isn't one. No, my Pimax Play is the latest. I'll leave all this stuff public test channel. I'm not sure what that means, but okay, good. Let's go back to Pimax Crystal Super, device settings. Now, there should be an advanced button down here somewhere. Over the rainbow, way up high, there's a land that I heard of. Yeah, da. Okay, anyway, I got pass-through turned on, but I on my OG they had, was it OG or SG, the original crystal, the pass-through was really awful. It was like a television show watched through an old antenna base that wasn't very good. Like out in the farm where I had to make my brother stand and hold the antenna so we could watch the hockey game. Actually, he made me stand and do it because he was tougher than I am, which is setting the bar low, but still, he was tougher. Advanced, what do we got through? What do we got here? All right, now with the 8KX, in order to get everything looking right, I had to mess about with horizontal PD offset, not so much vertical offset, but the PD offset. I had to change that, so I'm prepared to do that with this machine if I have to. And let's see what else there is. Perspective hotkey, okay, cool. Control shift and home, all right, that's good to know. There is no such thing as motion control yet, as far as I know. No, okay. And we can leave that alone. What else did I want to do? I'm sure there's a setting that I needed. Is it on general? OpenXR runtime, that's what we want. Headset is default audio output device. Yes, even though I haven't got the DMAS, the regular speakers are barely usable, so I'll use them. OpenXR runtime. I'm sure there's a way to go for a smaller field of view, because it defaults to the largest possible field of view, which on this headset, the wide view, extra wide, is, I think, about 140 degrees. Room tracking, refresh rate, 90 hertz. Eye tracking calibration, this is back on the general setting. Alright. Games, image quality. Set it on medium. I'm going to set the FOV to narrow instead of normal and see if that gives me better performance. Okay, welcome back to the video. I just couldn't get Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024 or 2020 to work at all. I tried it with the Pimax headset on in VR mode, and I tried running it separately as a flat screen game, and at the beginning they never actually get to the game screen. So, okay, for now I'm giving up on 2024, and let's see how we do in IL2, if I can get this to work. If not, I don't think the problem's with the headset. I think the problem is with my computer and software. Something's gotten glitchy. I just reinstalled GeForce, so we'll see if that helps. The GeForce, what is it? What do they call it? Well, it's GeForce something or other, the GeForce application. Anyway, whatever it's called. I'm getting old. I don't know this stuff that well, but I'm trying to learn it. You're never too old to learn, and it's important to always keep learning, I think, to keep boredom and weirdness away from your life as you get older. It's easy to become kind of insular and obsessed with your own life rather than looking beyond your walls and seeing what's going on in the world. It's important to have hobbies. I know a lot of guys who retire wind up driving their wives crazy, and I suppose the same might be true for career women who retire and find themselves at loose ends. If you're not prepared for retirement, it can be devastating. You know, you've done something for 40 years and then suddenly you stop. That's not easy. But what you don't want to do is stay home and follow your wife around the house, giving her good advice on how she could do housework better or whatever chores she's doing. Or following your husband around telling him how he could do his chores better. I mean, you've got to have a life beyond the house. Whether you're retired male or female, doesn't really matter. You still have to have some kind of plan for retirement. And for me, that plan is my hobbies. I work on my 3D printing, I play with my VR flight simulators, and I do my voice work. Although the voice work is what pays for the flight simulators, frankly. So, let's see if this works. Now, it automatically booted up in the correct mode, VR mode. So let's just see. We're playing in Steam. And let's see if I can get everything working here. Now, I did have this working, the Pimax Ultrawide screen, Super 2, or Big Super Crystal rather, Super 2. Well, you know, can't be expected to know all the words. Oh, it's in pass-through mode. Why is it in pass... got it out of pass-through mode. Well, I have to admit, this looks better than the other day. And I'll tell you what I did. I went into settings. I think I was getting, I don't know, 5 or 10 frames per second in IL2, which is ridiculous. It should run a lot faster than that, even in VR at this level. I set the resolution down quite a bit, and I set it to medium quality in Pimax Play. Now I can't quite read the titles here, which is not good. The field of view, I narrow it as well. So let's just see how it plays. But right now, I'm not all that excited about this headset, to tell you the truth. I think it needs more computer than I have to offer. Let's just pick a battle here. How about the classic Spitfire? Do I have a Spitfire 1? No, I have a Hurricane Mark II, though. Let's try that against an ME-109E7, early war variant. And beyond that, I don't really care. We've got a battle zone picked out. Pardon my snuffing, but I've got allergies. And we'll see what's going on here. Hold on for a second. I got everything tangled up here, as I often do. There's something to be said for cordless gaming, but I don't know. Oh, what's happening now? I don't have anything in the VR headset. Did I accidentally? No, I think it's just waiting while it loads. Or something. I don't always know what's going on. Oh, there we are. The picture's back. Okay. Now, why has it got my interpupillary distance so crazy? Because I usually have it set for 58. That's how far apart my pupils are. A little narrow, I'll admit. My mom always said you couldn't trust people who were too narrow-eyed. And then she'd look at me suspiciously, which, I'll tell you what, didn't make for the happiest childhood. No, that's a joke. That's a joke. Let's see if I can get this unpaused. There we go. Uh-oh. Now I gotta get centered in the headset. There we go. Okay, have I got full throttle? Now I do. Joystick's pretty jerky. I'm not seeing FPS frames per second here. Well, I should be able to turn with them if it'll be close. Because the 109E7, I think, only had machine guns, so it's quite a bit lighter. It's maybe 150 pounds lighter than the one that had machine guns and 2 cannon. I'm not sure. But this is definitely flying better than it was. I'm not sure what the frame rate is. I'm not focused on flying too much here because I'm just trying to see how smooth this is. So this looks pretty good. I think it's pretty smooth, but I certainly have reduced the graphics level from 5,000 by 40,000 to something like 3,400 by 4,100 or something. I don't know, but I can always show you those. But if I have to dial it down this much and reduce the horizontal field of view as much as I feel like I have, it feels a little wider than the OG, but I'm the original crystal that I still love. But I'm not sure. I'm like to shoot this guy down, but I'm kind of more concerned with just seeing how this thing works. There he is. I should be using flaps here, but I haven't mapped them yet. I don't know if I need them against this guy. But again, I don't really care if I shoot him down or he shoots me down. I just want to see how it plays. And so far it plays pretty good, I must say. I wish I could get Flight Sim 2024 to work, but again, that's not a problem with the headset or Pimax. That's something with the Asobo install. And it's odd because neither Flight Sim 2020 nor Flight Sim 2024 will work for me, and they were working well a couple months back, the last time I tried them. But I think when I updated the drivers, I may have wound up with a driver that doesn't work with Flight Sim. And what's really odd is when I check my supported games list for DLSS, or for optimization in the GeForce experience or whatever it's called, it doesn't even list Flight Sim 20 or 24. What's crazy is it lists games that are 10 years old, you know, like Flight Sim 10 and Flight Sim 40th anniversary. I mean, those are old Sims. Old. Oh, collision. Well, that's not so good. Well, everything looks pretty good. Except for the crash and burn and die part of it. Ouch. Oh, that's going to leave a mark. Okay, so it's working okay. It's working okay in IL2. And it's working okay in DCS. But I really don't think I have enough computer for this headset. What I'm going to do, and you can hang in there while I do it if you like, is I'm going to see if I can just switch things up a bit here. I don't want to get out of the game, but I am going to go to Pimax here if I can. And let's see what we got going on here for games. Device settings. I don't know if you're seeing this because you might only see the VR view. But I've got device settings and device information open right now. I'm going to go to games and see what it says for IL2. IL2 Battle of Sturmovik. That's the one. Oh, it's on normal for field of view. Well, let's set it to narrow and see what happens. Now, dynamic foveated rendering doesn't seem to work at all. I mean, not at all. And I've got priority rendering. I'm not sure what that is on balanced. Smart smoothing is off. No, I've got it turned on now. Let's see what that does. Hidden area mask. Okay, well, let's leave that alone. Let's apply all this. Okay, good. Now we'll get out of that. I don't know if it's going to make a difference until I reboot IL2. Well, I'll tell you what. Let's get out of it and reboot it. Hello. Okay, here we go. Let's go back to Steam. And we'll boot it up again. This is what testing is all about. You know, you find something that's broken and then you find ways to try and get around its brokenness. But sometimes it's out of your hands, right? Okay, so it started up again, but it's still loading. It's still loading. It seems to me the key change I made was reducing the resolution quite a bit. And gosh, I hate to do that. What's the point in having these headsets if I have to reduce it to a level that's lower than my crystal, or at least appears lower? The sweet spot is clearly bigger on the Crystal OG than it is on this ultra wide 50 ppd headset, which is a little bit disappointing. But there's more to do before I say yay or nay. I may very well wind up sending this headset back. And I'm a Pimax fan. I've supported them for a long time, and I'm not saying that there's a whole lot wrong with this headset. I am saying that it may be more headset than I can afford right now in terms of computer upgrades. Because if you need a 5090 to run this thing, or even a 5070, I have to buy a new computer because I don't think my motherboard will support that. And if it did, it would be like putting a Rolls-Royce battery in an engine with a 1956 Volkswagen Beetle engine. It might not help very much. All right, let's try again. We'll go to quick start. Let's see if we get anything different here. Actually, let's see if we can get FPS counter to work here. I'm going to go back to Steam just for a second. I want to see if FPS counter is running. I really would like... Well, why aren't you showing me... Okay, let's go to Windows. There we are. That's the one I'm looking for. And... No, that's Nvidia. I don't want that one. I want Steam. I should have better glasses. With my reading glasses, I'm good for close-up, but I'm really not good for playing video games. And with my distance glasses, I'm a little too far away from it. I've got Pimax XR runtime going. I don't know if it helps, but it doesn't appear to be hurting. Pimax Crystal. I know I've got the Pimax Crystal, you moron. Come on, show me what's going on here. Okay. There's Steam. That's what I'm looking for. Okay. Now, where's FPS? I have games that just disappear lately. They seem to just disappear. FPS VR, let's try that. Launch. Okay, it's running. Let's see what we get if it works. I'll just show you my Steam settings while we're here. So I have smart smoothing off here. Maybe I'll turn it on. I don't know if it'll work. Custom resolution is set. I've got it for 3436 by 4144. And it wanted to play at 4436 by 5352. That's still only 80%. Okay, I've set a narrower field of view in the game settings. So let's see if I can run it at a higher resolution here. If not, I'll have to dump it back out. Which OpenXR am I using? Pimax XR. That's what we want. Okay, there's a couple of things that IL-2 doesn't support that I wish it did. One is the mouse, so that not everything has to be mapped to my joysticks. I would love to be able to use a mouse to flick some switches and stuff. That would be nice. Can't in IL-2. Can in DCS and Flight Sim 2024. The other thing I'm not crazy about in IL-2 is it's just old. It looks good for its age, but it's just old. All right, let's close this. Let's go. What happened to my game? Oh no. Oh, that's the way it goes. Okay, let's go back to live. That's Pimax Experience. I don't want that. What the heck am I doing here? Let's go to Steam. Let's go to library. Let's start IL-2 again. I don't know what's going on here. There's something. I may need a new computer. This thing's starting to get weird. It is several years. What I might need to do is a clean install of everything. I'm on Windows 10 still, and I'm very reluctant to go to Windows 11 because I've heard so much crap about it. It seems to be more spyware than anything else for Microsoft, and I think we got Big Brother looking over our shoulders a bit. Do I really need Google to be sending me personalized ads based on what I play. You know what I mean? I don't get it. I don't like feeling like somebody's manipulating me. You know, that's not a game company's job, although, of course, anytime you're in advertising, you're trying to do that. And God knows I've read a lot of commercials. I tried to figure it out for my students one day, how many commercials I'd actually read over the course of a 17-year career as a broadcaster and a 25, 30-year career as an actor. It was something over 15,000, averaging 3 to 5 commercials a week over that many years. And I would often do 5 commercials a day when I was working in radio. So, you know, since I started teaching, of course, that cut back a bit. But now I'm doing more voice work on the internet because more voice work is available. And so on and so forth. And in the meantime, we just keep plugging along. All right, here we are. Let's try this again. Put the headset on. And I have to say that even though this headset is lighter than the OG, my original crystal, I don't find it quite as comfortable. I mean, I know that's odd. And people will say, "What are you talking about?" Because everybody else in the world seems to find it quite comfortable. Just let me tighten this headset up a bit here. Okay. So, yeah, the headset is visibly narrower now, but it's not all that much, you know. Everything's more legible, and I can actually use the print here on the startup menu to adjust the headset. When it's very clear, then I know the headset's sitting properly on my head. And that's another problem I've had with this headset. It's very difficult to use the eye centering software. I did the calibration for eye tracking, the Tobii eye tracking, but then when I click the remind me of facial placement thing, I'm not sure of the exact term for it, it was almost impossible to get it to settle down and accept that the headset was centered on my head. It would flash OK for a second, and I'd have to get it to flash OK for 2 or 3 seconds before it would accept that it was OK, you know. So it tells me that this is just a little harder to set up than my original crystal. And the original crystal's battery, which everybody complained about, powered an extra computer chip in the headset that looked after eye tracking and some other things. And boy, the eye tracking, I have to say the eye tracking is okay in this. Better than it was the first time I tried it. But it's not as good as the original crystal. All right, let's try this again. I'll take the same 2 airplanes, although I think I might modify the Hurricane to give it some cannons and stuff, just to make it a little bit more fun. It'll take a second here to get us into that screen. I could give you more life advice, but you know, I'm just an old fat man in a cruel world, and the older I get, honestly, the less I know for sure. I used to be so sure of myself. I was like a slightly smarter Donald Trump. Well, maybe not slightly smarter. I'm not saying that he's a stupid guy. I just disagree with a lot of what he does, but that's neither here nor there. And I know I'm not the sharpest tool in the shed. So let's set up the Mark II. Yeah, it's been a long time since somebody told me I was a genius. My mom told me that before I went to school, grade 1. It was a real shock when I got there and found out that I wasn't as smart or handsome or even as popular as she said I was. Let's go with 2 12.7 and 2 2x20 Russian armament that they never had in the Battle of Britain. I'm okay with that. Actually, you know what would be fun? Oh, we'll just go with that. Actually, no. Let's go with 4 additional Brownings. Give it 12 machine guns. That's good enough. Makes it a little bit heavier, but... And convergence is set for 190 meters. That's pretty good. I'd set it just... that's fine. Good enough. All right, let's have a go. Let's see how long it takes me to get my butt shot out of the sky this time. Oh, I got to find the right key to get us started here. All right, let's hit the P key. There we go. This looks good. But frames per second counter isn't working, so. But this is smooth. This is pretty smooth. Well, he's going to have to come back up. He's doing high yo-yos there, or he's trying to. Now I'll do a little yo-yo here. Burn off a little speed and get behind him. Now I can just follow him around and we can check. I wish I knew what the frames per second were, but maybe, since I'm recording this extraordinarily long video with Nvidia recorder, it may very well be that I'll see some kind of a deal there when I review the video. Okay, I can out-turn him, so I'll just pull a little more. Yeah, he's starting to wobble a bit there. He's going to want to reverse in a second. Gosh, why am I not hitting him? That should be easy money. Back in the day when I could play this game. Ah, there I got a piece of him. Wasn't pulling enough lead. Rookie mistake. Actually pretty horrifying to see an airplane in flames. The pilot bailed. There he is. Excellent. We shall meet in the air again someday. Alright, so, you know, I'm not terribly disappointed in this right now. I had to narrow the field of view an awful lot, though. So, I might as well be in the OG, I think, you know, typically speaking, or truthfully speaking. I think this is good. And with the narrower field of view, I almost feel like the screen overlap is better too. But again, I've got this narrowed down to the point where I feel like I'm in my OG, but with worse sound. Mind you, it is lighter. And I think if I get the comfort kit, I'll prefer the comfort of this very much more so than when I do the crystal. But golly gee, I gotta tell you, I really do feel like I'm not sure this is a good choice for me with the system I have right now. I've got an old Intel 9900, as you probably heard earlier in the video. and an Nvidia 3090, which is actually a good flight sim card because it's got so much memory. I don't know where the airfield is. Might as well see if I can find it and land. What do you think? We'll cruise at about half throttle here, or a little more maybe. And I noticed the throttle was working backwards for me, so I got to remap everything in both games, all my games, DCS, Flight Sim 2024, if and when it works, and IL2. And I really do love IL2, even though the scenery sure can't compare to Flight Sim 2024. I mean, it just can't. See an airport around here somewhere. If not, how about we try a snow landing? I have no skis, and snowshoes won't work on an airplane. Now, I don't know what the heck I'm doing here. Going into a little map on the side here. If there's an airport, it's got to be around here somewhere. I don't see one. Well, maybe that's an airport. Oh, that could be an airport. Let's have a look down there and see what we got. Or is that a vehicle of some sort? Oh yeah, that's a truck, I think. Okay, well, we'll just set it down somewhere along here. Maybe I can find a straight road. Yeah, there's one there. Tell you what, let's get set up for landing here. I got to take the headset back for a second. I think G is for gear and Q might be, or F might be for flaps. There, I got gear down and flaps. A little bit of power in the turn here. That looks like a field up there. Why don't we try landing there? I'll just hold the nose up and bleed some speed off. I don't think that's a runway. It does look like kind of a good place to land them. Get the nose down. Line a straight line here. Hold it straight. Ooh. Well, if you can walk away from the landing, it was okay. If you can use the airplane again, it was great. This one counts as okay. So that's it. Initial impressions. Well, if you don't have a high-power computer, I think you probably already knew that the Pimax Super, let alone the Pimax Super Ultrawide, might not be the deal for you. I am not sure it's a deal for me. I mean, there's a lot to like about this headset. It's light. People complain about the overlap, but I actually don't find it's too bad. Brad? Something like that. I do find, however, that I'm a little let down by it. It's not quite as good as I'd hoped it'd be. But again, if I had a more powerful computer, I'd probably be just as excited as the other YouTubers. And it's definitely another step in a good direction for Pimax, considering that they've had so many headsets that people struggled with. And on the positive side, that really forced Pimax to get much, much better at customer support, which they have done. and it's pushed them to get much, much better at delivering a quality headset. They've revamped their quality control a lot, and it's definitely better. But there's still a ways to go. I've been very happy with their technical support on this headset. I've had some issues with it, as I explained, and they resolved very quickly. So I think it's a great headset, but I'm going to have to do more testing to see if it's for me. I've got to see if I can get it working with a wider field of view and even 30 frames per second, 28 or 30 in Flight Sim 2024 would be good. I felt like the frames per second in IL2 were okay. It was okay. It wasn't brilliant, but it was okay. Certainly playable. So if I can get the higher field of view and maybe slightly higher resolution, because I prefer the field of view to the really high resolution, I have to admit. I still love my 8KX because of that huge field of view, and I'm still holding out hope for the Pimax 12K, which I intend to trade my 8KX in on if that deal still stands. But then I really will need to upgrade my system. So the question for me is, do I settle for the Pimax Super, which a lot of people really love, and there's a lot of things I really love about it. The modular system is nice. I could get the plain 50 ppd version, or I could, there's other options coming. I really like the interchangeability of it. But if I can't get the field of view that I need for flight sims or for racing games, then I just don't know. I do know that a field of view isn't a huge issue for you. And you have even, say, a 4060 or a 4070 GPU and a little faster motherboard, maybe an AMD. I think you'll find it's pretty good. Anyway, that's enough for this video. This has been a horribly long video. I apologize for it. As Pascal said in a letter he wrote famously to a friend, "I'm sorry this is such a long effort. I would have written less, but I didn't have time." Something to think about. Okay, friends, more coming down the pike with the Crystal Super Ultrawide. Stay tuned, won't you? I really appreciate it when you come for a visit.